When my life in that small Dutch city quietly ground to a halt, I moved to Paris, convinced that happiness would come easier in French. I got myself a job that paid well, maybe even suspiciously well, and rented an apartment in Montmartre. I found a place near Place du Tertre, and every day, to and from work, I passed through that circus of painters, artists selling their souls cheaply to tourists, hungry for souvenirs. I encountered tourists who lacked either money or taste to pay gallery prices, so they bought paintings from street artists who lacked skill to be in the galleries. Then one afternoon, I heard my own language on the street. Visibly lost, searching for something he wasn't even sure of himself. I helped him, and soon we were wandering aimlessly together. Both of us were free in the same way a vacant parking spot on a narrow street is free, briefly available and likely to be filled soon. We walked among the artists and could mock their impressionist cliches without anyone understanding. Growing up with mandatory school trips to the Van Gogh Museum, raised on Rembrandt and Vermeer, we saw those street artists as painters who might impress children, if anyone at all. We relished in arrogance, secretly confident in our superior Dutch sensibilities. Everything amused us, even the high-fashion, absurdly overpriced clothing that made us Calvinist kids from the Polder chuckle. What a joy it was to speak freely in my own language, and oh, how desperately I needed that. Gray, cold Paris, blanketed in snow, yet this warm, gentle stranger beside me. Together we chased away the cold by talking and walking. Strolled past the market, and at the sight of a stall filled with puppies, my thoughts immediately drifted toward babies, marriage, pregnancy, life's entire predictable screenplay that I'd been trying so hard to avoid. Piles of old things that spoke directly to my fears of growing old. I feared growing old here, becoming just another statue, trapped forever inside these stone walls. My plan had been simple. One afternoon walking around, then goodbye. Nothing serious. In the serene darkness of Notre Dame, afraid to share my secrets, and even more afraid that God might overhear my thoughts and whisper them into his ear, I gently told him that meeting him was nice, but enough for now. I took advantage of the cathedral's silence, no loud noises permitted, to slip away quietly into the street, onto the metro, back home. Heading home, I wondered if I'd made a mistake, but there was relief too in feeling free again. Life was rushing past like a wagon I urgently had to catch. I didn't want him to know my well-paid job was at a cabaret. I was a failed actress who dreamed of Hollywood, but ended up entertaining tourists in a cheap Parisian show. Too ashamed to perform back home, I'd run away from judgmental eyes. Here in Paris, I was no one, safely anonymous, free to do what I knew without disapproving voices. Then I chose the easy way out because I was tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of following scripts. I'd had enough of studying masterpieces nobody cared to watch. So I settled for the cheap applause, performing in front of clueless tourists, in shows dripping with cliches and false smiles. After all, being anonymous in Paris felt like freedom. At least nobody here knew me. Nobody judged me. Hidden behind the glitter, I was safe, unseen, alone. And for sure, I didn't want him to see me on these cheap, cheesy shows, made to entertain tourists that have never been in a cabaret, and could not recognize all the cliches. Didn't want him to see me dancing bare-breast, if we didn't even kiss yet. Loneliness overwhelmed me, lost in the crowd, isolated among thousands. The emptiness grew unbearable, the secrecy exhausting. I couldn't go on living as a product on display, hiding from the world and from myself. What I needed was someone real, solid ground beneath my feet, a warm, firm hand to hold on to, a potent presence in a city of illusions. I was sure he'd be exactly that. And I knew I needed that viral, strong man with structure and feet on the ground. So I searched for him, his one mistake, telling me where he stayed. went to his neighborhood, convinced I saw him turning a corner. I ran after him, only to lose him in the anonymous. Just as I was giving up by some ridiculous twist of luck, there he was again. I apologized, using Paris' gray skies and the unbearable cold as an excuse for disappearing. But I returned, confessing to him my depression, my life full of bridges leading nowhere. The romantic paintings of Paris didn't match its bleak reality. I was tired, exhausted by the city's heavy past, frozen traditions suffocating real life. And I knew I needed to find a way out. Quietly, gently, asking nothing of me, he told me his own life wasn't a rigid castle without room. He was heading to Spain. Would I want to join him? Precisely because he demanded nothing, saying no became impossible.